Hey everybody, I just figured I'd check in and update you guys on some of the progress I've been making with my Elegoo Neptune 4 Maxes and the Anycubic Kobra 2 Max. They're all three running really good. I've got, right now they're printing the Helm of Saint 14 from the Destiny video game. And in fact, I have one finished here. The print is fantastic. This came off the Anycubic. The Elegoos are printing all of the mohawks for these, and they've printed a couple other pieces. This is actually an Etsy order. I've got two Etsy orders for the exact same helmet, just different sizes. I appreciate all of you guys that have placed orders with me on my Etsy store. That helps us out, my family financially. So that definitely is very helpful and very thankful for you guys for your support. But yeah, it's printing great. They're turning out great. This is a very stout helmet. It's kind of an egg shape, so it's kind of a strange helmet to fit, but it's actually a really nice helmet. And I printed a few of them already, and I kind of want one for my own collection. But the one I have in my collection is a failed print, and I'm trying to fix, and hopefully maybe I'll add it to my collection. Ugh. But it is a very strange shaped helmet, as you can see. It's oblong. This was actually designed for a 23-inch head, and I'm pretty sure I have a 24-inch head, so it doesn't quite fit over my head as well, but it's not supposed to, so that's that. The progress on my Elegoo Neptune 4 Max, the bed spacers that I put in there, the Teflon spacers, I've slowed down the prints to around 250 millimeters per second, and I'm getting excellent prints off of both printers. The printer with the silicone spacers seems to be printing better quality. I think the silicone spacers absorb some of the vibrations, and these three printers can put off some serious vibrations. By slowing down the printers, they don't shake as much, and they don't those shaking doesn't end up in other prints. So that's another thing to think about if you are looking into doing something like this. But the Teflon spacers, the hard Teflon spacers, they're working. They're not great. I'm probably gonna switch back to the silicone spacers on both, and then just end up using the locking nuts and maybe some blue Loctite. I think that's probably the best way to go so far from what my testing, my experiments. So right now I'm actually running locking nuts instead of the knobs to adjust. So I've leveled the bed on both beds manually using the locking nuts to get just the right leveling, and then actually I had to kind of adjust the bracketing to get the bracketing to work perfectly. I thought that was kind of an interesting little tidbit for you guys there. The Teflon spacers are all the same height, so you shouldn't have to. In theory, when you put all of them on across the board, you should have a flat level surface, and I didn't. It actually was kind of like this when I looked at the bed mesh. So I'm guessing that actual bracket, that actual plate system is warped in some way. So I'm kind of playing around with it. I think if I play around with the bed leveling, I can get it to be just close enough to perfect. I was able to do that with the silicone spacers and the locking nuts, but it did take quite a bit of time. It was a very tedious process to level the bed that way. I don't, if you're looking for easy, I don't know that that's an easy route to go, but it may be more permanent. So if I can get it perfect or close enough to perfection for me, and it'd take me an extra half hour or 45 minutes to level the bed because of that, and then I never have to level the bed manually ever again, it'll be worth it for me. But it was very tedious. So I'm just putting that out there. If you guys do this, it would be a very tedious process. You have to kind of level the bed, figure out which corner's not high enough, then tighten it a little bit, and then put it, it's kind of a tedious process. So if it works out though, I'll post a video on everything I did, on how I did it. That way you guys can kind of see if you really want to try to attempt that sort of a process. But ultimately, I'm having good prints, and my bed mesh was actually really nice. The printers are doing really well. The Anycubic hasn't clogged since, which now it's going to clog because I said it. But it's doing great, and the filament I'm using is printing really nice. I tend to print with the Sunlose PLA Meta, META, Meta PLA. It's a very strong, sturdy PLA. It seems to work really well. My other go-to is the Elegoo's PLA Pro. That's actually been a very strong. It reminds me a lot of the Sunlu's PLA Meta PLA. So they're both really very strong PLA prints or PLA filament. I do find that they print really well at faster speeds too, which is kind of nice. The silk and the matte don't always print great. They don't always have the greatest layer adhesion. Some people, when I say layer adhesion, they assume I mean bed level. The initial bed leveling has never been an issue for me. I always can get I can seem to get all the first layer to lay good, but when you're printing, you may see some separation. So that's what I'm referring to when I say layer separation. The filament doesn't always stick to each other sometimes, and that could be wet filament, but I tend to dry all my rolls before I put them on the printers. So I have a feeling that it's probably something to do with the silk, the added additives to the silk or the matte PLAs. But that being said, I've had good luck with the Meta, which is just a basic PLA that has a strong adhesion to it. And the reason why I say I can tell it's stronger is because when you're removing supports with the same exact settings, the support removal on the Meta PLA is a much tougher removal than standard PLA or even the silk. The silk removal is really easy. So, that's something to be said when you're pulling your supports off and the material you're using is strong. Sometimes it's your settings, but for me, I've dialed in my settings pretty nicely, so I don't have to worry about that as much. But I mean, they do come off pretty easily for the most part. But when I switch from like silk, which comes off really easy, and I'm using the exact same settings and I print the Meta PLA, it's really tough to remove. And it's not a bad thing sometimes, especially if you're trying to go for a strong print. Like I tend to print armor pieces and helmets, and I want those prints to be strong. I know a lot of people are using the PETG. I've been getting questions about that. I have not printed with that before, but I do have several friends that do, and most of them have actually suggested that I switch to that type of material. I'm not familiar with it, and I think with the enclosure, I might be able to get away with printing with it now, but I haven't tried. So that's something that maybe in the future, we'll see. But for the most part, I mean, I'm having good luck. If you want to check it out, the Mohawk is looking really nice. It's just about finished, so that's pretty cool. I've got a second one over there for a separate size, and then this is another one of the Saint 14 helmets. So I'm printing the Mohawk solid. Printing it separately, the file actually comes separate with all the pieces separately. When I do that, they don't always line up properly. I don't know why, but the first time I did this, I printed all the pieces separately and I tried to get them all to mesh properly, and they didn't line up as well as I would have liked. So I just combined all the pieces in Mesh Mixer, and then I printed it solid. I'm trying to print more pieces as a solid piece instead of broken up into smaller pieces. I know why a lot of makers are making things smaller and separate pieces so you can combine them. A lot of people are using the Bamboo Lab printers and having good success, and so because of the small build plate, people have to basically offer the tinier options that you can glue together. I don't prefer that. I would rather have a nice big build plate and print something solid in one piece and not have to worry about gluing pieces together. That's just me. That's just from my experience. I don't like gluing a bunch of pieces together, and what if you get done printing it or get done sanding and painting and you get it all together and all of a sudden you bump into it and a piece breaks off. It's just, yeah, it's happened. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like that. So, but that being said, I'm having great luck with the printer so far. The Elegoo Neptune 4 Max is working for me. I know there's several people that have had issues. I do get requests and questions about the Wi-Fi not working. I have not had issues with my Wi-Fi on my two Elegoo Neptune 4 Maxes. So I kind of wonder if it has to do with the Wi-Fi or the signal within people's houses. I know I've had issues with my Wi-Fi not working with other devices, but for the most part, my Wi-Fi on my printers, I set them up like I do my phone or my smart TV, and they just work. And so I haven't had any issues in that aspect, but I honestly don't know how to fix it if you do have questions about those Wi-Fi things. All my printers are printing with Wi-Fi and they work, so I don't know how to help you guys. I'm sorry. But I am looking into other things. I'm actually looking into how to fix other aspects of the printers, so that when you are making videos on how to fix other aspects. And I do still need to post my video on the linear rails. I think after 2 weeks trial, I can officially give you good news and feel comfortable sharing how I installed it. I didn't really want to put something together too quickly and then end up having like an issue after I published the video. So I just kind of wanted to get my ducks in a row before I publish the video. So I'm going to work on that and get that uploaded. I know I keep saying it, but I'm actually going to do it. You know, I'm going to post a link on my Etsy store. So if you guys, you know, really appreciate this and you want to support me by buying something off my Etsy store, love that. That would be great. So if you guys want to check that out, it'll be in the description below. But I really appreciate you guys watching these videos. Like and subscribe if you want to hear more, if you have more questions, and hopefully I'll be able to help you guys along the way. Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy printing. See you guys later.